Hello, my loves. I hope you are enjoying this warmer weather as much as I am. The storms have not been fun, however, but these sunny and 72-degree days are giving me life. It can be difficult, however, to find community in this warm weather when you're coming out as queer. A good place to start building that community is your local pride organization or your school gay straight alliance, also known as a GSA. This week, I talk about getting involved and help us figure out how to be that light a little bit more. It can be hard, right? To find that queer community sometimes. In the South, it may seem like that community is non-existent. That's why I love Pride on the Plains, y'all. It's our local LGBTQ pride organization here in Lee County. They're responsible for hosting Pride Fest every year here in Auburn, but throughout the year they do so much more. Pre-COVID, they would host monthly LGBTQ events like a family game night at our local coffee shop or a benefit drag show at a local wine bar, maybe even some bingo. They had a trans summit to educate people about transgender awareness. They had so much more. I think they were involved in an LGBTQ leadership conference. I'm just trying to name things off the top of my head. These events really help engage our community, y'all. They offer safe spaces to foster that community for even our LGBTQ youth. Right now, I know it's hard. Pride on the Plains is slowly getting back to in-person events and trying to get back to some sense of normality. But as the world opens back up, I guarantee you, your queer community needs you now more than ever. I heard so many sad stories during this past lockdown of long-standing queer spaces going out of business. Sadly, in some towns, that was the only inviting queer space to escape the world from. When pride organizations and queer spaces can all open back up again, please go support them. And if you can support them now, I know that they would greatly appreciate it. I can speak from firsthand knowledge here because I'm president of Pride on the Plains. It's not been easy. We've not been able to fundraise this year like we have been in the past because everybody's hurting financially, right? We all need business. Luckily, half of what we need for Pride this year was paid last year before COVID shut everything down. Our vendors have graciously honored those deposits for this year, but we still have to pay for flights, hotels, security, the rest of the deposits that we've already paid for. So many more things that happen the day of Pride that you probably don't even think about. So while your local Pride is not having events, if you have any spare cash lying around, I can assure you they will find somewhere to use that. But enough about money. What about actually getting involved? If you search Facebook or even Google, I'm sure there's a local pride organization close by that is legitimate, with a board, a 501c3 nonprofit status, and the like. They're going to have a Facebook or a website. Follow them. Sign up for their newsletter if they have one, and you'll receive all the updates you need, from local events to even when the meetings are, so you can learn how to volunteer and be involved with Pride. With us, we're doing Zoom meetings right now, but we post the link to social media every week so that our community can join. It takes way more than 4 to 6 people to plan and execute a successful Pride, y'all. I got started because I was called upon by a good friend of mine, Chad. He had a vision for a Pride festival / organization here in Auburn, and instead of waiting on someone else to start it, he started it himself. With the help of me and him and a few other friends, we drafted a set of bylaws, applied for a nonprofit status, starting having meetings to gauge like gauge engagement. And here we are. It's not always been easy. We've had plenty of pushback being an LGBTQ organization in the South, but y'all, they can't stop you from organizing. It's your constitutional right. If they do, I know a few ACLU attorneys who would love to go to a meeting with you, the mayor, and the city council, because I promise that your city does not want the lawsuit or the bad press involved in denying an LGBTQ organization a place to have a festival, especially if there's a local park that they probably rent out to anyone who fills out the application. Starting a pride, now, that's a whole nother podcast for season 2. Maybe I can get Chatty Daddy to join me. But getting involved is really as simple as showing up. I understand, however, that there are a lot of hesitations with that, about getting involved in an organization such as a Pride or a GSA, and we'll chat about that in just a second. Hesitation. We have it every day. You don't want to get out of bed to go to work or class or go do that chore or task that you've been needing to do. Anxiety is the likely culprit, as well as the fear of the unknown sometimes, right? When we take that step to be involved, what will be expected of us is probably what we're asking ourselves. And I can promise you that we've all had those apprehensions. Taking that first step is always the hardest. But once you get started, you find your community. And you will not want to leave. I love these people with all of my heart. And they have become a second family for me. Probably because I see them all the time, planning for Pride and meetings every other week. But getting involved looks different for everyone. We are all individuals and have our own individual strengths. Those strengths can be used within a Pride organization. So I would say the first step to getting involved is just showing up. Introduce yourself, let people get to know you, and I can guarantee you that they will quickly find a place for you to fall into their community. Going in, if you know your strengths are organization, maybe event planning, spreadsheets and numbers, I promise all of those skills are very useful to help further your local Pride organization. But maybe if you don't want to be on the board or volunteer, you could attend Pride affiliated events. Attending those events really helps ensure the success of an event. And when one event is successful, more events can happen. Showing up and participating really helps show the world that we're here. You know, we're here, we're queer, get used to it, right? But under that umbrella, though, allies, they help us out. Allies are greatly welcomed at our events or to volunteer on the board. Pride needs allies to thrive, y'all. When allies come to support Pride, we all grow together. Pride also loves families. Learning from a young age, gay acceptance and diversity, that can encourage children to love and accept all people. And isn't that the goal? It can also show them that it's okay to embrace their own unique quirks. There may be a little hidden drag king or drag queen down in there somewhere. And that's what makes all of us unique and beautiful. Maybe you have an idea for an event, right? Talk to your local Pride or GSA leaders. They want to find more ways to engage the community and bring the community closer. An event idea that you have might spark a big interest and bring out individuals who have common interests. And that in turn brings the community closer, which is what we want. Now I know you're over there looking at me like, excuse me, COVID. But events can happen successfully. I've been teaching face-to-face since August the 10th. Gatherings can happen, and with vaccinations open to more and more people, I'm very hopeful that large gatherings will come back soon. If you were in school, though, and looking for a safe space, your GSA is a great place to start. My school system has a GSA for grades 7 through 12, and I love seeing that. I've chatted with the 7th graders before, and I hope I can again real soon. If your school doesn't have a GSA, but you think you need one, find a teacher to sponsor it, and then request it through the proper channels. You will probably more than likely have to have a teacher sponsor anyway, so if you go ahead and find one, when you go in and ask, that probably helps you out a lot. Auburn University has Spectrum, that's a GSA that you can get involved in if you're in college. I'm hoping, very hopeful, to partner with Spectrum soon for some Pride events on campus when people can come back on campus again. I didn't really have any questions asked, but I did want to highlight a few conversations that were had in the comments of my Facebook status. So the first one I already touched on, allies. Y'all, we couldn't exist without them. Yeah, we had a full-on riot to get people's attention, but allies help us when we try and get out there and grow our community and educate the ignorant. There's an A in the alphabet mafia for both asexual and allies. We need them, y'all. We do. Another point in the comments was not having time. Listen, we get it. Everyone has a life, and everyone feels like they can't be involved in the planning of Pride, and that may be the case, which brings me back to going to Pride events. I'm sure one of those events falls on your off day, so please go support those events, and in turn, you're supporting Pride. And sometimes we feel like we can't help, right? But you can. If you work for a company or a local business, asking them to sponsor Pride or even vend at Pride Fest means more coming from you than it does coming from a Pride board member, because one of their own employees has a stake in it, right? Maybe if you own your own business and you're crafty, you could make something that Pride could raffle off at an event. That way they could raise a little bit more money. And then your business gets kind of visibility, right? There are ways to help. I promise there are. And then one of my friends, Bob, commented that he started to help with Pride because it was something he needed to do for younger me, he said. And I love that so much. We, as queer teachers, get to be that example that we did not have growing up, because I know I did not have an out queer teacher until I got to college. I could have had a queer teacher in secondary, but they weren't out. I don't know, So we get to be that person that they can talk to and they can trust with all their problems. And then my beautiful friend Jessie said that she started with Pride because she just started tabling for her work at some events. And she said, I had to pull it up so I could read it. She said, quote, "It was a natural progression to how I ended up on the board, and I don't know how it happened, but I've loved all of it." So sometimes you even come in to volunteer for one thing, and then we kind of just suck you into it, and now you're part of our family. So there's always ways to be involved. There's always ways for you to help out. The main thing I can do is, if you want to help Pride, if you want to be involved with Pride, go to those meetings. Show up, see where you can fall in, and see how you can help. I know I've said it once, but it bears repeating. Donate. Whether it's your time or whether it's your money, there are so many ways. Are you good with your hands? We always need somebody that can build stuff, right, for parades and at the festival. Are you good with art? We're always looking for new t-shirt designs. Do you own a business? Pride is always looking for vendors and sponsors. If you're interested in supporting Pride on the Plains, please follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and you can email info@prideontheplains.com to see how you personally can get more involved. Pride on the Plains Festival is June 5th. We're excited to welcome drag entertainers from all over the state and the South, even a couple of RuPaul's Drag Race gals. I'm not going to tell you yet, so you'll have to keep your eyes out for those announcements. But more importantly, we're bringing the community together. We'll be at Kiesel Park again, noon to 7 p.m., so we'll all be able to spread out, enjoy a fabulous, fabulous day of pride, family, and celebration with a beautiful after party hosted by Crown of Comedy in Auburn. If you've never been out there, it's a great venue. I highly recommend going to see them. So check out prideontheplains.com for more information and to see how you can get involved. This kind of felt like a commercial for Pride, but I'm not mad at that at the same time. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you in a month. Finish off this semester strong, y'all. We got this.